Hey, it's Lynn, and I would consider myself a reformed shopaholic, and I love handbags. At one point, I was a ravenous handbag collector with over 60 handbags and nothing left in my wallet. However, this year, there was a shift in the air, and I became a financially savvy girly who needed to clear the clutter and keep my investment stocks stacked instead. So here I am today with quite a controversial video. As someone who has spent a lot of time rewiring the way I think about shopping, I try to be extra mindful about my purchases, especially with the current state of the economy. I still love handbags, but I unfortunately, after further research, whether it be seeing and trying on these bags on me in person at the store, or just merely having enough time to ponder how these bags will fit into my wardrobe and lifestyle, the 15 bags that I will be mentioning in this video have fallen off of my ultimate handbag wish list. A little disclaimer before I proceed. It goes without saying that if you have any of these bags in your collection, please know that I genuinely mean no offense. If these bags are still in your wish list, I mean, they were a part of my own wish list at some point or another, right? I hope you know that this is just me telling you my opinions and preferences, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Thus, without further ado, let's move right on along, starting with my favorite handbag brand, Celine. Up first, we have the Celine Mini Boston bag. After trying this bag on in person and after a long time of discernment, I have realized that no matter how cute this bag is on the shelf or on other people, I am just not a fan of logos at all. It may not be the LV monogram, and it may be one of those if you know type of logos, but it's just not for me. Additionally, when I tried this bag on in person, it lacked the flair that I was hoping it would have. My heart did not jump up and down. It was just sort of mid, if I'm being honest, on me. That may just be, again, a me problem, but it's my hard-earned money, so I better feel good wearing something, right? Not to mention for the price, especially with the price increase, I would rather spend that much money, maybe even add a few extra hundred if I want to go the luxury designer brand route again, on an all-leather bag instead that I know for sure will stand the test of time. Speaking of logos, the next Celine bag on the docket is the Celine Triomphe bag. They have the shoulder bag, the crossbody bag, they have one that looks like a loop. All of those I'm going to count as one. Unlike the mini Boston bag that I just talked about, this one is typically in leather, except there's a very distinct and quite oversized gargantuan gold Triumph clasp right smack dab in the middle. And while again, this is one of those if you know logos, I have a feeling in the depths of my gut that this exaggerated giant logo will eventually become the Gucci GG logo that dominated the 2016 through 2017 era that now people are considering chuggy. I mean, it's already starting to happen with the Triumph felt. There's just so much in the market right now that it's become normal to see it on people. Anyway, while I do appreciate Eddie Slaman's effort in trying to modernize the Celine classic box bag from the Phoebe Philo era, I still feel like no matter which version you get, the all leather, the chain, the crossbody, what have you, it just feels a little too much, a little overdone, a little played out, a little too loud. Finally, the last on my Celine list is the Celine Phantom Cabas. Before any of y'all come for me for an assumed Phantom Cabas slander, please know that I love this bag with all my heart, and that I too have pondered day after day, week after week, month after month about adding this minimalist tote in my collection for quite a bit of time. There were many, countless nights when I dreamt about just buying this bag on a whim had I had extra money. However, money and closet space are scarce in my life, and realistically, I do not need another tote. I have way too many. Not only do I already have my beloved Celine So Sangle in my arsenal, but I also have other tried and true tote bags from Madewell and Everlane that literally do the exact same job that the Celine Phantom Cabas will do. And so for those reasons, as much as it pains me, I mean, they don't even make this anymore. I would have to then get it from the resale market. The Celine Phantom Cabas is no longer on my wish list. Now, moving on from Celine, up next is everyone's favorite, the Chanel Classic Flap bag, whether it be large, medium, small, square, rectangle, what have you. While this bag is quite possibly the number one iconic bag that's on everyone's wish list, including mine at more than a few points in my life, I strongly feel that the price is not worth it, especially with all the price increases in store. I cannot justify spending upwards of over $11,000 for a handbag that is, well, pretty basic. Now, there's nothing wrong with being basic. In fact, I am a self-confessed basic woman who likes pretty basic things and pretty boring things. However, there are other bags out there that fall into that basic / minimalist / iconic category that are far less expensive for a fraction of the price, that not only beats the price of a Chanel Classic Flap bag from the store, but is also better quality. Now, for the record, I cannot speak for the quality of the vintage classic flaps, particularly those that are being sold in Japan, because their vintage market there is to die for, as those are pristinely made and have quite literally made it through decades with minimal wear and tear. But the ones that Chanel are pumping out now are definitely not of the same caliber for an exponentially higher price. With that said, I do want to be transparent and tell y'all that I do own a blue 2016 Chanel CC Crossing flap bag, which is technically not an official Chanel Classic Flap, which I purchased pre-loved for around $2,000 in 2020. And the fact that I have it in my possession and the fact that I use it constantly satisfied my desire to get the classic flap version. The big question is, had I not purchased this bag, would I still crave for the Chanel Classic Flap? Perhaps, but I would certainly look into the pre-loved vintage route first, because I know for a fact that their clasps and their chains are made of 24 karat gold, whereas now they're just gold plated. All right, enough about that. Now let's talk about Dior, starting with the most iconic, the Lady Dior. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. This bag was on my wish list for years. However, when I went to Paris this year and I saw it sitting on the shelf untouched, it didn't even catch my eye. Even when I tried it on, it didn't spark joy. My heart didn't even skip a beat. When I was trying it on, it looked so, dare I say, plain on me, at least. The Lady Dior looked so beautiful in pictures, and they look really good on other people, especially with the way that they style them, but that bag is just not for me. Additionally, the fact that the handles don't fall flat on its side on some of the models while you're wearing it crossbody just doesn't feel right to me. Furthermore, it's quite clunky, yet so precariously delicate because of the leather that I felt like I would need to baby it if I owned it. But since it's been on my wish list for so long, I was doing brain gymnastics on my brain to make it fit into my wardrobe and my lifestyle. But quite frankly, if I have to think that hard to have a bag fit into my life, then maybe I shouldn't force it to be a part of it. All right, moving right on along to the Dior book tote. I know many people have had these bags for a long time. This is a classic that most luxury bag lovers already have for years at this point. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Basically, everything I said about the Celine Phantom Cabas also applies to this bag. I have way too many totes, yada, yada, yada. However, I have to address the two tied at number one reasons why this bag is just not for me. Number one, the most basic Dior oblique version is made of 100% cloth with no way to protect it from spillage or weather. And this guy comes at the whopping price of $3,350. And number two, there's literally no security in using this bag. It's just one huge gaping hole that's easily accessible on all fronts. And since it's a structured tote with no flexibility, there's no way for anyone to really tuck it under their armpits for some security. So for those reasons, I cannot, under good conscience, be able to justify that price. Therefore, while I can still admire the book tote from afar and on other people, I simply am not the type of person who will have that bag and use it well. The book tote has been banished from my wish list, and that's that. Finally, the last Dior on this list is the Dior saddle. I'd be the first to admit that I am a sheep, and this one, it is one of those it bags that I was eyeing for a while because of the influx of influencers who are constantly posing with it on their Instagram. However, I was able to firmly remove it from my wish list because A, I already have a saddle type bag, which is my Chloe Tess that I love dearly. And B, every single review on this bag has literally mentioned that the number one con is that it literally doesn't fit anything. While I do love that tiny bag energy, or TBE for short, I still need to carry the basics in my bag. My phone, my wallet, my keys, and a lipstick or lip gloss of some sort. And this bag barely fits a cell phone. And so basically, for all its intents and purposes, it just simply is not meant for me and my lifestyle. And I'm okay with that. Oh gosh, time to talk about the most coveted bag in the world, the Hermes Birkin. So basically, to keep the long story short, I only really wanted this bag because everyone and their mothers and grandmothers and cousins and friend down the street have hyped up this bag as the ultimate rich woman status symbol. And I too wanted to follow suit. So when I started making money, I figured that if I saved enough, I could get myself one in 5 or so years. But then as the years passed, I realized 3 things. Number 1, as this bag could only be worn as a top handle bag, it will not fit in my lifestyle. I like something that I can put on my shoulder, whether it be crossbody or just on the side. 2, if I did own this bag, I would never wear it out of sheer fear that it will get scratched or damaged. And 3, brace yourselves for this one, I don't actually like the bag. I would rather spend my money on something I actually want. So off the wish list, it went. Swiftly moving right along to the 2 Loewe bags that I have been lusting over, starting with the iconic, the one that started it all, the Loewe puzzle. I have watched and read countless raving reviews about this bag, which particularly praises the quality of the leather and the craftsmanship that went into making the bag. As someone who likes understated and if you know brands, this bag was right up my alley. Until I went to Paris and I tried it on in person. And unfortunately, it did not blow me away the way that I was hoping it would. It looked pretty basic on me. And as of filming this video, Loewe came out with more colorways and different styles of the puzzle, but none of them are calling my name. In fact, they, I think, are phasing out the older version and are not going out with a new version of it. The second Loewe bag that was briefly on my wish list was the Luna bag. When they released this bag in summer 2022, I was in Paris and it caught my eye. I particularly loved the crescent moon shape, the colorways, and the straps of this bag. And I also liked the idea of being able to buy a separate strap to make the smaller version into a crossbody bag. That was really enticing for me. But I gotta tell you, when I was tempted to get it on the spot, something in my shoulder told me that I probably shouldn't, because there is one major flaw in this bag, and that is the closure. The two flaps close with a signal magnet in the top of the bag, and that is a major red flag for someone who lives in the city, especially if I'm trying to get into the bag, as well as for security reasons. And so it was with a heavy heart that I had to delete this bag off of my wish list. Full disclosure, I don't think Loewe even sells this bag anymore, which kind of tells us something, but you can still get it at the resale market. Now, let's move on to the only two Louis Vuitton bags that I even ever considered purchasing for my closet for a very brief moment in time. Starting with the Felicie, particularly the one in the black Empreant leather. Did I say that right? Hopefully. While this bag may seem like good value for money, as it's one of the cheaper Louis Vuitton bags that are made with all leather, it also comes with two inserts, one small zipped pouch and one slim multi-card holder. I just cannot get on the LV monogram bandwagon, even with the super subtle embossed version. Some people love it, like my mom, my aunt. They are obsessed with Louis Vuitton. They have a handful of monogram bags and small LV canvas goods, but I'm just not as into it as they are, and that's okay, because different strokes for different folks. And the same goes for the other Louis Vuitton bag that I briskly put and took off of my wish list, which is the On The Go MM. I asked and answered these three questions when pondering about this bag for, all of 2 weeks. Do I need another tote? No. Do I like the LV monogram? No. Do I like logos on my handbags in general? No. And with that, it was off of my wish list as quickly as it got on. Drink some water, I'm a little thirsty. I've been talking so much in this video. Okay, we have made it to the last three bags that have been demoted out of my wish list, and they are both from the brand The Row. The first of which is the slouchy banana bag, the bag that everyone and their mother's brands have tried to copy and emulate. I was really heavily considering purchasing this bag because a bunch of the British minimal and neutral leaning fashion bloggers and YouTubers I follow have this bag. And as I already previously mentioned, I am an easily influenced individual. However, for the price tag of a whopping $2,000 plus on resale and $2,000 plus from the website, I could not justify purchasing this trend-led bag. I have no idea if this style will become a classic, so I erred on the side of caution when I decided to take this bag off of my wish list. I do love the look and the vibe with the half moon, higher up and close to the body style, so I opted to get a much more reasonably priced dupe bag instead, and that is this Cause bag right here. This was actually my everyday bag during our trip to Japan last summer, and it held up pretty well, though I must say that the leather on the strap did get a bit discolored from a lot of sun exposure because it was really hot when we were in Japan, but I don't mind, and I still use this bag quite frequently. Just love the leather and the look of this bag. Okay, so moving right on along to the Margot bag from The Row. It is deemed as the next Birkin, and I must say I was intrigued at first, so I instantly put it in my wish list after seeing just a few people talk about it. But ultimately, as I kept doing my research, I realized that I only had this on my wish list for the sole reason that it's very hyped up right now. Honestly, I do not really see myself carrying and wearing a top handle only bag for long periods of time. And I feel like it being too hyped is one reason too many not to get something as expensive as the Margot. And finally, we made it to the last bag on this list, the Row Bindle bag. The original version was longer and have been discontinued and very difficult to find on the resale market, so I gave up because of this reason. But they recently came out with the new kind of wider version for 2024. And for a hot second, I was seriously considering buying it. Does it fit in my lifestyle? Yes. Can I imagine myself using it for work to justify the extremely heavy price tag? Yes. Is it aesthetically pleasing, and did the leather look so supple and soft? Yes. Will it fit into my wardrobe? Yes. Is this bag an oversized and overpriced toast? Tote. Yes. For the record, does this bag still visit me in my dreams sometimes? And do I get a high from adding it onto my cart every time I visit the Royal website and then clicking out of the tab? Yes. But I'm glad that it's staying on my cart and in my dreams, because my wallet won't be too happy if I actually get it in reality. And so that's it. Those are the bags that are off of my ultimate handbag wish list. There are a few bags that are in the wish list chopping block, but I can share those another day. I'm just so happy that you've made it to the end of this very chatty video. But before I go, comment down below which bags didn't make your cut and which bags continue to be on your wish list, remaining steadfast there. I would love to interact with you in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. You are awesome. Stay awesome. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.